but what is it that you find yourself doing when you're doing the core bulk of your coaching?
Great question. It's so different for everyone,
Right.
because everyone has a different roadblock to get over. Some people are great at taking risk, but still have old beliefs about money. And so it's really hard for them to think about charging what they need to charge for their product or service, and getting to that next level of really having a sustainable business that pays them. And then some people have so much self-doubt and insecurity that keeps them from kind of taking that next step and going to that next place. So it's very unique to each person. And I think what's interesting and what I love about coaching is that people don't see it as a block. They think it's something else.
Right.
So they might think, if we talk about burnout, for instance, they might think, well, it's my boss that's causing my burnout, right? It's all my boss's fault. And it's just a reframing of and giving them the power back to be able to make the decisions they need to make that gets them moving forward. So just really bringing awareness to them. And I did this as a manager too. I was a manager for years. And I think that's where I really honed my coaching skills, was just sitting with my staff or sitting with my team and just asking them question after question after question, and never telling them what they should do, but just listening to their answers and then kind of guiding them. So I feel like there's more empowerment, especially when you coach executives who want to feel like they have the leadership skills and want to feel good about where they are, but empowering them to find answers and solutions to their own questions, but pointing things out to them that maybe they hadn't seen before or hadn't had the opportunity to really discuss either, because we're so often in this situation where we have to prove ourselves or look like we know all the answers or make sure we don't reveal our weak points. And so I provide that sounding board for people where if they do feel vulnerable about something or they feel like they have a weakness, we can talk about it openly. And then they can figure out, what the next step would be or the next solution.
That's excellent. Thank you. And do you find that people come for coaching because they suss they're holding themselves back in some way, or they stumble across you more because the business has reached a roadblock? What do you find?
They usually come to me because the business has reached a roadblock. This is what's interesting about my marketing problem, is that I know what people need, but they don't know that they need that. And I think in the case of the woman who I've been working with that feels like it's her boss that is creating the issues for her, she came to me because she's a senior partner in the company. And she said, the company's growing. We're in a little bit of a chaotic moment. We don't have good organizational structure. We need someone to come in and really assess it. So I did more business consulting with them of kind of assessing the organization, looking at their financials, looking at their growth plan, and working with them operationally. And what came out of that was that she wanted to leave. And she wanted me to help create a transition plan so she could step out of the business. But what we ended up talking about was how to prioritize and how to reorganize what was on her plate, how to set boundaries, how to create more confidence in her leadership abilities. And so now it's a year and a half later, she's still there. She's making more money. The company has grown more than 50%. They've hired 3 new people. So it's amazing. That's not what she came to me for.
Wow.
But it's where she ended up. And it's a great case study, I feel like. And what I'm able to do, I'm sort of a unicorn of being able to have a big picture view of the business. I have a lot of experience in growing businesses, but then really working with individuals on what those personal roadblocks are that are in their way.
That's really fantastic. And I'm sure she's super grateful for the fact that really what it's done is clear out the roadblocks, but it's also clear out cleared out the mental roadblocks, no doubt. And that leaves somebody with a much higher state of energy to be able to drive. You know, that we use the expression mojo, but without really knowing what it is that we're talking about. And most people mistake it for being simply, well, I don't feel very motivated. Yeah, but what about? And there's an awful lot that you do, which is probably going perfectly well, but you've no doubt tainted everything with the same brush that says actually it's all going badly. So yes, that's another mistake that we make. And I think there are other kind of thinking errors, such as catastrophizing, you know, this isn't right, so therefore nothing is right. You know, these aren't correct because they're not factual, but, you know, yes, we're in habits. We're all in habits, I think.